From translation, RSV Revised Standard Version, this 142 day of the year, today we are reading passages Ezra 4-7, Ezra chapter 4, verses 1 to 25. Now, when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the returned exiles were building a temple to the Lord the God of Israel, they approached Zerubbabel and the heads of fathers' houses and said to them, "Let us build with you. For we seek your God as you do, and we have been sacrificing to him ever since the days of Esarhaddon king of Assyria, who brought us here." But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the heads of fathers' houses of Israel said to them, "You have nothing to do with us in building a house to our God. But we alone will build to the Lord the God of Israel, as King Cyrus the king of Persia has commanded us." Then the people of the land discouraged the people of Judah and made them afraid to build, and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose, all the days of Cyrus king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius king of Persia. And in the reign of Ahasuerus, in the beginning of his reign, they wrote an accusation against the inhabitants of Judah and Jerusalem. And in the days of Artaxerxes, Bishlam, Mithridath, Tabal, and the rest of their associates wrote to Artaxerxes king of Persia. And the letter was written in Aramaic and translated. Rehum the chancellor and Shimshai the secretary wrote a letter against Jerusalem to Artaxerxes the king as follows. Then wrote Rehum the chancellor, Shimshai the secretary, and the rest of their associates, the judges and the envoys, the Arameans, the Babylonians, the men of Susa, that is, the Elamites, and the rest of the nations whom the great and noble Osnappar brought over and settled in the cities of Samaria and in the rest of the country west of the Euphrates. This is a copy of the letter that they sent to Artaxerxes the king. Your servants, the men west of the Euphrates, send greeting. Be it known to the king that the Jews who came up from you to us have gone to Jerusalem. They are rebuilding the rebellious and bad city, and they are finishing the walls and repairing the foundations. Now be it known to the king that if this city is rebuilt and the walls finished, they will not pay tribute, custom, or toll, and the royal revenue will be impaired. We therefore are sending the king information that it is not to the advantage of the king to allow them to build the wall. Now because we eat the salt of the palace, and it is not fitting for us to witness the king's dishonor, therefore we have sent and informed the king, that search may be made in the records of your fathers. You will find in the records and learn that this city is a rebellious city, hurtful to kings and provinces, and that from of old it has been a sedition in the midst of it. Therefore that city was destroyed. We make known to the king that if that city is rebuilt and the wall finished, you will have no possession in the province west of the Euphrates. The king sent an answer to Rehum the chancellor and Shimshai the secretary, and the rest of their associates who live in Samaria and in the rest of the provinces west of the Euphrates, greeting and peace. The letter you sent to us has been read before me, and I issued orders, and search has been made, and it was found that this city has risen against kings from of old, and that rebellion and sedition have been made in it. And mighty kings have been over Jerusalem, who ruled over the whole province west of the Euphrates, to whom tribute, custom, and toll were paid. Now therefore issue an order that these men be made to cease, and that this city not be rebuilt, until a further order is issued. Take care that you do nothing to violate these orders until further notice. Then when the copy of King Artaxerxes' letter was read before Rehum and Shimshai the secretary and their associates, they went in haste to Jerusalem to the Jews, and by force of arms made them cease building. At that time the work on the house of God in Jerusalem ceased, and was discontinued until the 2nd year of the reign of Darius king of Persia. Ezra chapter 5, verses 1 to 15. Then the prophets Haggai the prophet, and Zechariah the son of Iddo, prophesied to the Jews who were in Judah and Jerusalem, in the name of the God of Israel who was over them. Then Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel and Jeshua, the son of Jozadak, arose, and began to rebuild the house of God in Jerusalem, and the prophets of God were with them, supporting them. At the same time Tatnai the governor of the province beyond the river, and Shethar-Boznai and their associates came to them, and said thus to them, "Who gave you a decree to build this house, and to finish this wall?" Then they said, "These are the names of the men who are building this house. We are the servants of the God of heaven and earth, and we are rebuilding the house that was built many years ago, which a great king of Israel built and finished. But the God of heaven himself will prosper us, and we his servants will arise and build this house, since we have been assisted with a good hand from our God, though he was not asked by the king or by the treasurer for the money to build the house." Then Tatnai the governor of the province beyond the river and Shethar-Boznai and their associates did as follows, as requested by King Darius. They sent a letter to him as follows, to King Darius, all peace. Be it known to the king that we went to the province of Judah, to the house of the great God. It is being built with huge stones, timber is laid in the walls, and the work goes on with diligence and prosper in their hands. Then we asked those elders and told them thus, Who gave you this authority to build this house and to finish this wall? We also asked them their names, that we might tell you, and that we might write down the names of their chief men. This is the answer they gave us. We are the servants of the God of heaven and earth, and we are rebuilding the house that was built many years ago, which a great king of Israel built and finished. But because our fathers had angered the God of heaven, he gave them into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, the Chaldean, who destroyed this house and carried the people away to Babylonia. However, Cyrus the king made a decree, and this house was rebuilt and returned to its place, because he the king Cyrus made a decree, and returned to the province of Judah the vessels of the house of God, which Nebuchadnezzar had taken from the temple in Jerusalem and had brought to the house of his gods in Babylonia. He also brought them to the 2nd year of his reign. Now therefore, if it seems good to the king, let a search be made in the royal archives there in Babylon, to see whether a decree was issued by King Cyrus to rebuild this house of God in Jerusalem. And let the king send us his pleasure in this matter. Ezra chapter 6, verses 1 to 22. Then King Darius issued an order, and search was made in the house of the archives in Babylon. And a scroll was found in the fortress of Ecbatana in the province of Media, written thus: a decree of King Cyrus. In the 1st year of King Cyrus issued a decree concerning the house of God at Jerusalem. Let the house be rebuilt, the place where they offered sacrifices. And let the foundations of the house of God be laid, its height being 60 cubits and its width 60 cubits, with 3 courses of great stones and 1 course of timber. Let the cost be paid from the royal treasury. And also let the gold and silver vessels of the house of God, which Nebuchadnezzar took out of the temple in Jerusalem and brought to Babylon, be restored and brought back to the temple in Jerusalem, each to its place. And you shall put them in the house of God. Now therefore Tattenai, governor of the province beyond the river, Shethar-Boznai, and your associates the governors who are from beyond the river, keep far from that place. Let the work of this house of God go on, and let the governor of the Jews and the elders of the Jews build this house of God on its site. Moreover, I make a decree regarding what you shall do for these elders of the Jews for the rebuilding of this house of God. From the royal treasury, the tribute of the province beyond the river, let these expenses be given precisely, so that the work is not hindered. And whatever is needed, bulls, rams, or sheep for burnt offerings to the God of heaven, wheat, salt, wine, or oil, as the priests in Jerusalem require day by day, let that be given them without fail, that they may offer pleasing sacrifices to the God of heaven, and pray for the life of the king and his sons. Also, I make a decree that anyone who alters this word shall be pulled down from his house, and shall be impaled on a beam from his house, and his house shall be made a dunghill. May the God who caused his name to dwell there overthrow any king or people who puts forth a hand to alter this, or to destroy this house of God which is in Jerusalem. I, Darius, have issued this decree. Let it be done with all diligence. Then Tattenai the governor of the province beyond the river and Shethar-Boznai and their associates did as Darius the king had sent them. And the elders of the Jews built with success, through the prophesying of Haggai the prophet and Zechariah the son of Iddo, and they built and finished it according to the commandment of the God of Israel, and according to the decree of Cyrus and Darius and Artaxerxes king of Persia. And this house was finished on the 3rd day of the month Adar, in the 6th year of the reign of Darius the king. And the people of Israel, the priests and the Levites and the rest of the returned exiles, celebrated the dedication of this house of God with joy. And they offered at the dedication of this house of God 100 bulls, 200 rams, 400 lambs, and 12 male goats for the sin of all Israel, according to the number of the tribes of Israel. And they appointed the priests to their divisions, and the Levites in their courses for the service of God at Jerusalem, as it is written in the book of Moses. And the exiles kept the Passover on the 14th day of the 1st month. For the priests and the Levites had purified themselves together. All of them were clean, so that they could all keep the Passover for all the returned exiles, and for their brethren the priests and the Levites. For the people of Israel, the priests and the Levites, had cleansed themselves as one man. And they kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with joy, for the Lord had made them joyful, and had turned the heart of the king of Assyria to them, so that he aided them in the work of the house of God, the God of Israel. Ezra chapter 7 verses 1 to 28. Now after this, in the reign of Artaxerxes king of Persia, Ezra the son of Seraiah, son of Azariah, son of Marai, son of Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, son of Neri, son of Enoch, son of Jozadak, son of Aaron, son of Amram, son of Amminadab, son of Ram, son of Hezron, son of Perez, son of Judah, this Ezra went up from Babylonia. He was a scribe skilled in the law of Moses, which the Lord the God of Israel had given, and the king granted him all that he asked, for the hand of the Lord his God was upon him. And there went up with him to Jerusalem some of the people of Israel and of the priests, the Levites, the singers, the doorkeepers, and the temple servants. And he came to Jerusalem in the 5th month, in the 7th year of the king. And on the 1st day of the 1st month he began his journey from Babylon, and on the 1st day of the 5th month he came to Jerusalem, for the good hand of his God was upon him. For Ezra had set his heart to study the law of the Lord, and to do it, and to teach his statutes and ordinances in Israel. And this is a copy of the letter which King Artaxerxes gave to Ezra the priest, the scribe, a man learned in matters of the commandments of the Lord and his statutes to Israel. Artaxerxes, king of kings, to Ezra the priest, scribe of the law of the God of heaven, peace, and so forth. I make a decree that all the people of Israel and of his priests and Levites in my kingdom, who offer their free will to go to Jerusalem, go with you, for you are sent by the king and his 7 counselors to make inquiry about Judah and Jerusalem, according to the law of your God which is in your hand, and to carry the silver and gold which the king and his counselors have freely offered to the God of Israel, whose dwelling is in Jerusalem, and all the silver and gold which you can find in the whole province of Babylonia, together with the freewill offerings of the people and the priests, for the house of their God in Jerusalem. With this money, therefore, you shall with all diligence buy bulls, rams, lambs, and their grain offerings and drink offerings, and offer them on the altar of the house of your God in Jerusalem. And whatever seems good to you, and to your brethren to do with the rest of the silver and gold, do according to the will of your God. And the vessels that are given you for the service of the house of your God, deliver them before the God of Jerusalem. And whatever else is required for the house of your God, which it falls to you to provide, give it out of the royal treasury. And I, even I, Artaxerxes the king, make a decree to all the treasurers in the province beyond the river. Whatever Ezra the priest, scribe of the God of heaven, requires of you, let it be done with all diligence, up to 100 talents of silver, 100 cors of wheat, 100 baths of wine, 100 baths of oil, and salt without prescribing how much. Whatever is commanded by the God of heaven, let it be done with zeal for the house of the God of heaven, lest there be wrath against the kingdom of the king and his sons. We also notify you that you are not to impose tribute, custom, or toll on any of the priests, the Levites, the singers, the doorkeepers, or other servants of this house of God. And you, Ezra, according to the wisdom of your God which is in your hand, appoint magistrates and judges, who may judge all the people in the province beyond the river, all such as know the laws of your God. And those who do not know them you shall teach. And whoever will not obey the law of your God and the law of the king, let judgment be executed upon him with all diligence, whether it be to death or to banishment, or to confiscation of property, or to imprisonment. Blessed be the Lord, the God of our fathers, who has put such a thing as this in the king's heart, to beautify the house of the Lord which is in Jerusalem, and who has extended his mercy to me before the king and his counselors, and before all the king's mighty officers. And I took courage, for the hand of the Lord my God was upon me, and I gathered together out of Israel the chief men to go up with me.